Hi, this is Jen O'Brien, and this is a WAT 21 lesson. Today we're going to be talking about using online resources to challenge above and beyond students. Since the start of school, we've been able to meet and assess our students. Recently, we were asked to do midterms, and while we've got a really good sense of who's doing well and who could possibly handle more challenge, we've also had the tricky task of filling in or not filling in that box that says nearing mastery. While we may not have students who are nearing mastery right now, early in the year, we may have a sense of who's going to be there by the end. Parent conferences have also been a time to talk with parents and get a sense of how the student is working at home, how they're feeling, and the feedback that they're giving their parents about school. So overall, we may have a good sense at this time of the year of who these above and beyond students are. Maybe they've identified themselves, maybe other people have brought them to your attention. Recently, I was involved in a conversation about one of my students. The parents had contacted the school and were looking for their child to be more challenged. The responses of the teachers, I think, were pretty typical. Many of us said the child was doing really well, had distinguished themselves maybe by being top of the class, but maybe hadn't also been looking for the challenge or asking for it themselves. Many teachers, including me, said that the material was going to be getting much more challenging. Projects were coming, papers were going to be due, skills were building on top of each other. So in time, that challenge was going to meet the student. Other teachers expressed a concern that maybe by ramping up their classwork, the coursework, the complexity, that they may lose other students. And this is a pretty valid concern with our heterogeneous classes. The question now becomes, what do we do with these children? The objectives for today's lesson are to describe online resources available for you to challenge these students. And these resources may be things that you put into your bag of tricks. We all have different ways that we deal with these students on a daily basis, whether they be more complicated problem sets, maybe an additional reading here and there, getting them to work with other students and maybe more of a mentor situation. We have bags of tricks. This is to add to it. At the end of the lesson, your challenge will be to identify resources appropriate for your discipline and your grade level. And there'll be a time where you're going to be able to look on the internet and explore some of the resources that we're going to look at right now. These resources are found all over the internet. There are many of them, and I just want to highlight some of the ones that I think are the best and the ones that really might give you some very practical solutions to providing that extra challenge that some students are looking for. So let's get started. The first resource I'm going to share with you are TED Ed lessons. Many of you may be familiar with TED Ed or TED Talks, and this is really the teacher-student version of that. If by Googling TED Ed you get to this page, and then by clicking on lessons, you'll see lessons divided by different disciplines. This will give you a chance to browse things that would be particularly interesting or challenging to different students and or advisees. I'm thinking of a particular student interested in robotics. So I'm going to go down here to the Design and Engineering tab and open up a series of videos. You can see there's a lot here. There's videos that are live, animated videos, portions of TED Talks, lots here. So I'm going to kind of scroll, and 4 lessons from robots about being human. Ken Goldberg, 17 minutes and 10 seconds. Sounds perfect. Let's see what other teachers have done with this. If I click on this particular lesson, I'll be able to see the video. I'll be able to preview it. I'll be able to look at some of the questions that other teachers have created. This particular one has 8 questions associated with it. So I can scroll through, I can see if these are appropriate for my student, if this is kind of where I want to go with that student. Looks good. Even a free response and save my answer question. Perfect. So this is the one I'm going to offer to my student as a little bit of extra challenge. By clicking this flip this lesson, I now make it mine. I can customize the questions, I can add, subtract resources. Now that I've customized, made this my own lesson, or simply just said what the other teacher did is A-okay with me, I can click this little button down here to say finish flip. Now that I do this, it'll store it in my account. I created a very simple teacher account, and the student will have the account, should have an account also. I have links here, I can share this, and I can see how many students have actually completed this lesson. So as long as the student is logged in and I'm checking my account, I'll be able to track the progress of this student who's looking for a little challenge above and beyond. Another resource is Khan Academy. Many of us think of it as a kind of a math or science place, but it has a lot of humanities lessons and is expanding all of the time. By going to khanacademy.org, you can scroll down and browse the library. Here you can see a whole bunch of disciplines and grade levels that are available, classes like humanities courses, microeconomics. There's a lot here. If I were just to click, say, world history, I could see the different kinds of lessons that are available. Lots here. I might say this would be appropriate for my student who's looking for a particular challenge, or maybe they're just interested in a topic that I'm not exactly getting to in my class. So by clicking around, you're going to find a whole bunch of great videos that students can be engaged in, and how you choose to assess them is really your own design. While the previous two resources that I've shared with you have offered either single videos or maybe videos in a series, maybe your student is really up to the challenge of a MOOC, or a massive open online course. What you see in front of you right now is Coursera, one of the most well-known MOOCs that are out there. This will provide students with multi-week courses where they engage in quizzes, watching videos, maybe being involved with discussion groups, and also possibly doing other assignments. Now, this isn't one that you're going to be able to flip on your own, but if a student were engaged in this, you could find a way to track their progress or maybe even having discussions with them. A great place to start when you go to coursera.org is to view all courses. Here you get a sense for the wide variety of courses that are offered. I like to click Starting Soon because that will tell you the courses that are coming up. Some have already begun and the students wouldn't be able to engage in them. But you can also go back, find one that happened in the past, and get on a little emailing list so you can know if it ever comes available in the future. Scrolling down, you can see that there's a whole bunch of disciplines that are represented here, and there's a lot to offer. I'm personally taking an online class through Coursera right now in virtual online learning. Over here, you can see my Foundations of Virtual Instruction class that I'm taking. I'm in week 5, I'm at the end. I have 5 videos that I need to watch over the course of the week, or I could watch all at once. There'll be a final quiz, and I did do an assignment, and I have lots of discussion groups that I can engage in. So this might be something that your student is interested in. You might be also interested in it too. I think especially for independent study students, this would be a great opportunity to add to the repertoire of different things that they're doing for you as they pursue their passions. By this point, we've reviewed TED-Ed, Khan Academy, and Coursera. But there are some great databases that will help you sift through the endless choices there seem to be in the internet and provide you with ones that would be more relevant for your students. So let's check out 2 of them, redhoop.com and Internet Scout. Let's try Redhoop first, and here we go. Here we have redhoop.com, a searchable database that's going to give us a lot of these video courses we've just seen, as well as narrowing down all of the free ones. If you look at the bottom, you'll see places we just visited, like Coursera, but also some other MOOCs like edX and Udacity, but things like the Khan Academy. So just very simply, in a search bar, I can type in a topic that a student is interested in pursuing above and beyond their classwork. Maybe I will type in art, click on Find Courses, and it will do a lot of that searching we just did, but put it all in one place. There's great filtering options over here on the left, such as free, which I think is great. We're not going to charge these kids to do their above and beyond work. And you see a whole host of sources. Now we're down to 88. There's a bunch from Khan Academy, and I can start evaluating if these are ones that I think would be appropriate for my student. I'm kind of interested in this one right here, Big Questions in Modern and Contemporary Art. Let me click on that and head over to Khan Academy. All right, let's check it out. Take this course now. Once I get over to Khan Academy, now I can start to look at the description. I can sample some of the videos. I can see the different lessons that are set up for me and really kind of get a sense of, is this appropriate for my particular student? And finally, our final resource. This one is called Internet Scout, and you can find it by simply Googling Internet Scout. What's going to be interesting to us right now in this context are these archives. And let's go through and search these archives for lessons. Here you can see, basically it's a search. Let's type in a keyword like literature and see what kinds of resources it would give us. A search for literature will come back with a lot of resources. You can start looking through, evaluating what might be useful for that student, what might be interesting for them, and maybe what's on their grade level. Don't forget to be a good researcher and look beyond the first page. I know there's one I was particularly interested in on the second page, so let's go over there. That resource, The Literature of Prescription, Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and the Yellow Wallpaper. That's going to send you to another site that will have and house the lesson. So here's where Internet Scouts sent us, the U.S. National Library of Medicine. It has an exhibition that might be interesting for a particular student, but also some educational materials that you can click on, and then it's your choice. Evaluate, maybe use lesson plans as is with a particular student, adapt them, but also some other interesting things like online activities. So here's a list of the resources that we've looked at so far. TED-Ed, Khan Academy, and Coursera, specific ways to deliver lessons to students who are looking for a little more challenge, and then others that are databases like RedHoop and Internet Scout that'll provide you with a wide range of different lessons. Your assignment now is to identify a resource appropriate for your discipline and grade level. Try to keep in mind that one student, the one in the room looking for a little more challenge, looking to go beyond the class, looking to explore topics in a little deeper way. Any of these places might have resources that are available to them. So pick one of them, grab a computer, and go searching. Look for things that you would find interesting and engaging, and the students will probably feel the same. Thanks a lot.